everybody, and welcome to Mike Nierychlo Online, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made passionately. Alright, today's episode. As you know, we've been exploring the wines of Italy. Last few episodes, we tasted a few wines from Sicily, and today we're moving on to another Italian island off the southwest coast of the mainland of Italy, the island of Sardinia. Now, from what I understand, Sardinia is an extremely rustic, rugged, authentic place where sheep and goats are just randomly roaming the hills, where grapes probably should be planted. Farming culture there. You gotta check out this clip before we get into anything of this old dude from Sardinia, from the documentary Mondo Vino. Ran across this the other day and love this clip. Inspires me to taste some wine from the area.
La vigna ti crea delle rogne, ti crea dei problemi, non ti conviene a tenere la vigna, la possono tenere ieri, la potevano tenere solo i ricchi, noi vogliamo che la tengano anche i poveri, la vigna, cioè tutti come prima erano pezzettini di terreno che tutti coltivavano, vedete, tutti senti a muro, erano tutti, non importa se è molto ricco o molto povero, non importa, però siamo dignitosi nella nostra, siamo orgogliosi, del resto è costato millenni, noi abbiamo una civiltà plurimillenaria, in Sardegna l'uomo ha campato qui dignitosamente, e perché non dobbiamo campare anche oggi dignitosamente? Ecco, però bisogna che l'uomo non si distragga, non insegue le chimere del progresso che magari porta nelle rovine,
Now there's a truly authentic wine farmer. Okay, back to Sardinia. They grow a pile of different grape varieties all over the island. There's a lot of different influence from everywhere there. But the two main most established red grape varieties there are Cannonau and Carignano. Now, Cannonau is the same grape as Garnacha. Now, if you know or have heard of Garnacha before, it's one of the most prevalent grape varieties in Spain. And from our understanding, Sardinia has a huge amount of Spanish influence in the grape varieties that it's chosen to grow. And the other one that I mentioned, Carignano, is also Carignana from Spain, or you've probably also heard of Carignan from France. So a lot of influence there as well. White grape varieties, which we'll be talking about next week, is Vermentino. Now, I'm stoked to do a Vermentino white wine for you on the next episode. Today's wine is the 2009 Montessu. $30 for this bottle. Now, this bottle is one of the varieties I just mentioned to you. It is 60% Carignano. Now, the balance of it, the other 40%, is broken up 10% equal parts Syrah, Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, and Merlot. So they're playing off kind of the super Tuscan side of things. So I guess we can kind of call this a super Sardinia. Not going to touch too much on super Tuscan right now because that's for a future episode in exploring Italy, and quite a significant part of what Italy has contributed to the wine world. Anyway, stoked to try this wine out. See what Sardinia has to offer. Okay, right off the bat, this is something I often mention to you, and this is an Italian thing and tends to be an old world thing. The wine is got a beautiful color and you can see through it. Unfortunately, you probably can't see that on the camera there. Hopefully you can see that there. It's lighter in color, not overly staining my glass or anything. I love that. That kind of tells me this wine's going to have a brighter acidity. It's going to be juicy. Now, right away, what I'm smelling, it's got a beautiful Italian nose. It's got a lot of kind of a, how do we want to put it? A bright dark cherry. Does that make sense? A bright dark cherry. Almost like a toasted bright dark cherry. I find that really interesting. Very floral. I'd almost say kind of lavender or something like that meets lilac, somewhere around there. An authentic kind of smoked meat nose too. I really like that. And that I tend to find in a lot of Italian wines. It tends to be pretty similar across the board, especially southern Italian wines. Ooh, hold on a sec. Okay. My first impression of this wine, it comes straight into your mouth and it is juicy. Like, it is super juicy, super, like, just fills your mouth and is extremely refreshing. Nice acidity. With that said, I'm going to call this a food-friendly wine. That kind of bright cherry, like maraschino cherry, sort of comes from the palate. Maybe some, what would you call it? A little bit of pomegranate. Those sort of flavors, an authentic kind of smokiness. Good food wine, it's going to cut through your pastas, etc. But it's got kind of an interesting tannin that hits the mid palate of your tongue. I'm going to call it, let's call it fairly bitter, actually. So this wine alone, without food, is definitely portraying that bitterness. But the acidity and the bitterness is going to complement food extremely well. And I'm going to push that pretty hard with Italian wines, old world Italian wines. They're meant to work with food. So that bitterness and that acidity is going to cut right through some of your really bright, flavorful kind of sheep or goat cheeses that kind of have that edge of sweetness. This would work really well with like a risotto, maybe a mushroom risotto, something like that. Or a cheesy, thick Italian dish. Definitely a food wine. For 30 bucks, doesn't quite give me the complexity and stuff that I really like to get out of a $30 wine, to be completely honest with you. It's definitely a nice wine. It says Southern Italy. It's juicy, it's fun, it's refreshing. Yeah, maybe they should have just stuck completely with Carignano and thrown away the other French noble varieties. I don't know. Let Italy do what Italy does. Anyway, that's today's wine. We're exploring Sardinia. Super stoked to taste some white wine from Sardinia with you on the next episode. So thank you so much for everybody watching, and don't forget, wine, depretensiousized. See you soon.